What's up, everybody? It's your boy Hawk, and welcome back to another episode of Hawks Hoops. So many teams made some great moves this past offseason. Clippers got Kawhi and Paul George. The Lakers got Anthony Davis. The Nets got Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. But a couple of teams made some crucial offseason moves that kind of flew under the radar. So today, that's exactly what I want to talk about. We're going to cover three teams that made some great offseason moves, with the exception of one midseason move that flew under the radar. People aren't really talking about right now because it's not the biggest of names, but they'll definitely have an impact come next season. So coming right out the gate, we're not going to talk about an off-season move. We're going to talk about a trade that happened right before the trade deadline mid-season, and that is the Dallas Mavericks trading for Tim Hardaway Jr. and Kristaps Porzingis. Kristaps Porzingis, as we most all know, when healthy, is an unbelievable player. He's someone who can be a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. He's someone who I really see in the future being a candidate for MVP. He really does have that level of potential. He's still fairly young, and I think him and Luka will get along, and knowing what it's like to have that transition from overseas to the NBA. I think Tim Hardaway Jr. is a great addition with the Mavericks. He averaged 19 points per game last season when he was on the Knicks. Once he got traded to the Mavericks, his points per game went down a little bit, down to 15. But I think part of that is that he was in a new system, had to get acclimated to the system, and the Mavericks were running a lot for Luka Doncic. I think Tim Hardaway will be able to play great alongside of Luka, be able to share some of that load when it comes to ball handling and distributing for his teammates. This offseason, the Mavericks signed Boban Marjanovic and Seth Curry to their roster, which I think are really two solid pickups. Boban, he's kind of more of a novelty, if we're going to be honest. He's huge. He's hard to defend. He's kind of someone you can just throw the ball into and he's just going to dunk it with both feet still on the ground. But he's just someone else to throw in that rotation. He's not like a six-man candidate. He's probably not even your seventh man. He's probably your eighth, ninth man off the bench and just gives some backup minutes to Porzingis. But he's an anomaly. The fact that he is 7'6" makes him just something that teams have to game plan for. He averaged 8 points and 5 rebounds with the Sixers, so nothing crazy, but he's serviceable on the court for about 5 to 10 minutes a game. I think signing Seth Curry was great for the Mavericks. His numbers won't necessarily show it, but towards the latter half of the season with the Blazers last year, and especially in the playoff, he played really well off the bench for them. I think in the beginning of last season, he was still recovering from that stress fracture in his left leg. And towards the end of the season, he really got in the stride and really showing that he could be a solid backup point guard to run your second unit. The next team on our list that we're going to talk about is the Portland Trailblazers. So the Portland Trailblazers traded Mo Harkless and Myers Leonard for Hassan Whiteside. Now, before everyone starts going crazy and saying Hassan Whiteside is washed up and is trash, yes, I know he's not what he used to be, but I think him having his new scenery, a new city, will be good for him. It'll be good for his morale, and I think it'll allow him to get close to how he was playing before he signed his big contract that he's on. That being said, it's not like he had a terrible season last year with the Heat. He had 12 points, 11 rebounds. Were those in crucial moments of games, and were some of that come in garbage time? Yes, but he still averaged 2 blocks a game last year. We know he's solid defensively at the rim. I don't know how well he'll be in the pick and roll situation defensively when it comes to switching on to smaller guards, but we know at the rim he's a great shot blocker. We know he still has some decent athleticism, so him being utilized at the pick and roll with Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum will be pretty solid. The Trailblazers also signed Pau Gasol. I'm not gonna hold you. I don't think he's gonna do much production-wise on the court. I think his effect and his effort and his production to the team will be felt off the court. Pau Gasol's been known to be a great locker room guy. He's someone who's been a champion. He's been to the promised land. He knows what it takes. I think he'll be a great locker room guy and someone that Joseph Nurkic can learn from. And on occasion, he can come in, give you a couple of solid minutes, be half decent offensively off the bench. I don't expect anything from him defensively. I like it simply for the fact that he's a savvy veteran. He's been in the league for a long time. He's had some success, and I think he'll be a good role model for their bigs. And a special shout out to Zach Collins on the Trailblazers. They didn't sign him. They didn't trade for him. He was on the team last year. He stepped up a lot for the Trailblazers last year when Enes Kanter went down in the playoffs. He just has this grit about him that I really like. The Trailblazers coaching staff asked him to work on his three-point shot this offseason. I don't know if they were serious or joking, but I've seen some footage of him working on his three-pointer. Looks better than Ben Simmons' shot, so hey. And I'm saying it now, don't be surprised if Zach Collins is a candidate for most improved player for next season. And the last team on my list for today are the Utah Jazz. The Jazz made a great pickup by signing Bojan Bogdanovic this offseason. I probably said that wrong, but we're going to move on. I'm talking about a guy who can score for himself, who's playing great alongside of Victor Oladipo before he went down last year. Averaged 18 points per game, 42% shooting from the three, someone who can help stretch the floor. I kind of look at him as a Joe Ingles plus. Like, Joe Ingles was someone who can already shoot well, can create his own shot a little bit, but not that much. Bojan is someone who can do that and more. He's better at creating his shot. He's a little bit better off the dribble. So he'll be another sniper that helps spread the floor for Donovan Mitchell. And especially consider the fact that Gobert, although he's an excellent defender, can finish strong in the paint. He's pretty much useless offensively outside of the paint. So the more shooters you have around them, the better. The Jazz also signed Emmanuel Mudiay. A lot of people will probably say that Mudiay probably hasn't lived up to his potential of what we thought he would be coming into the NBA, but that does not mean he hasn't had a solid couple of years in the league. Last season with the Knicks, he averaged 14 points a game, and I think he's going to be in a good situation here because he's not going to be the first option, not going to be the second option. Shoot, he's probably not even going to be the third option, but he'll be somebody who can come off the bench, give you 10, 12, 14 points, maybe go crazy and get close to 21 night, and just add to some of that offensive firepower that I think the Jazz were missing last year. And the best thing that I think the Jazz did this offseason was trading for Mike Conley. As you probably already know, Mike Conley is hands down the most underrated point guard in the league throughout his entire career. And it's crazy to think that most people have always considered him underrated, always considered him a great defender, an okay person on offense, but last season he's coming off the best offensive season of his career. Averaged 21 points a game, 6 assists, shooting 36% from 3, which is the best in his career. He had a great season last year with Memphis, and I'm so happy to see that Memphis let him go and traded him to a team where he can contend, that he can get to the playoffs and potentially make a deep run. And I think that's huge for the Jazz because I feel like that Donovan Mitchell, as great as a player he is, he's not a distributor. He's not necessarily a point guard. I think Mike Conley will be able to run that offense, help take some of the pressure off Donovan Mitchell, help Donovan Mitchell score more off-ball cuts, spotting up, and things like that. So like I said at the beginning of the video, everyone's talking about the big names, the KDs, the Anthony Davises, the Kyrie Irvings. A lot of teams got better this year, and these are just the 3 teams that I wanted to share with you guys. If there's a team that you think made some great offseason moves that I missed, let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace.